Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Matt, deluxefab.com. Today, we're going to do a teardown and an honest look at my Deluxe Fab Mercenary after 3 years of getting beat on. So stay tuned. I'm going to tear it apart. We'll take a look. Here we go, guys. Now we got the tires off. See, a couple of these things on this truck are just beat. This printed piece is hammered. The skid on this truck's different than you would normally see on a Mercenary. We were trying something different. Works pretty good, but the longer skid, about to here, like what you see on the website, seems to work a little better. This truck's got medium DriveTech on it. I think I'm running soft rear and super soft front. Let's see here. The knuckle setup. This is a little backwards, but that's the way I put it together originally. I'm going to change this up now. See, I have full brass knuckles with 8mm stubs and then aluminum weight hangers and tungsten. I should have, it'd be better if I had aluminum knuckle bodies, probably with the slug holes is what I'm going to, and then brass weight hangers with the slugs. I'm going to try that next. Typically, I like a pretty heavy rig. Heavy, front heavy. This truck, ready to run, weighs 4 pounds, 6 ounces. So it's not heavy by any means, but it's not super light either. See here, what else? Tires. For this rig. Deluxe Goats, of course. Loaded dice, of course. I'm running 6-inch Crawler Innovations foams. Firm in the rear and medium up front. I tried the softer ones. This might be a hair soft for my liking. I think I might pull those apart and put a tuning ring in them just to mess with it and try it. I just put them in my Sporty. I gotta drive it and see how I do it. But these are 6-inch inners, medium outers, and I just sanded them down. Y'all see how I did that. I made a video about it. Alright, so I'm gonna tear it down some more. There you go. Alright, boys, there she is, pretty much stripped down. Electronics wise, I got a dual suppressor, DK Futaba ESC. This here, that's a comp repair. We repaired that at Worlds. Had some issues, and we were able to repair that on the rocks, which was pretty sweet. So, nothing too serious. Alright, we're gonna tear it down some more. Get down to the nitty gritty. Let's see what 3 years of beating will do to a set of these axles. Alright. Alright, guys, got them tore down the axles. This rear axles, you can see, like I said, these are still dirty. This is, you know, this is just as honest as it gets with these. This is still a V1 super light rear axle. The difference is on the V2s, almost all the housing is aluminum. Let's see, this whole half is on this V2 front. I got these before the V2 rears came out. So, got the motor guard on there. These printed pieces. They're just spacers to keep dust and dirt and sand from getting up in your gears. So, standard upper rear link mount. Something I saw to note as I tore it down. This screw here, I don't know if you all can see it or not. She's a little bent. Didn't let go, but I know it's taking some hard hits because I'm not shy with driving this truck hard. So, something to note. No biggie, but just something to check on your rig for. So what I'm going to do is, y'all can hear the difference here. I'm going to spin both these axles with motors on them so you can hear them. The difference between the V1 and the V2 style cases. What happens is with the plates, carbon plates on both sides, there's more of a chance for the stacking of tolerances and the bearing alignment to be just a little bit off. Not so much it'll make a problem for you running it, but just so the gears will sound different. So this is the rear, and that's ran like that for a couple years. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the V1. Now here's the sound from the V2. Hear how much quieter that is? till you really start reefing on it. That's the V2 case being way more, what's the word I'm looking for? Precise, because the aluminum cases. Now, on the way I have coming, we do now have, if you have a V2 case like this with carbon sides, this piece and this piece and the new link mount are available on the website. They're all aluminum now. So the only carbon on your front axle will be on your servo mount and then your cover. Now, this upper link mount, this is actually a super version upper link mount. I was breaking the other ones that are carbon instead of aluminum. As you can see, this one's had some hard hits too. So I went to a super one. All the new stuff going out has the new upgraded upper link mount that's all aluminum. And it also puts the link mounts on both sides of it versus both being on one side. So those are on the website if you want them. So let me do some more tearing down, some more cleanup. We can talk more about what we find. Oh, we didn't cover these battery mounts. This one's a little crooked, a little beat. There, she's straight. We didn't talk about these battery mounts. So when you buy the kit or these axles, they're going to come with several kinds. I prefer these. They just bolt on with the 2 screws. You see mine's took a hard hit. She's got a crack in it. So I'm going to replace that. But yeah, 2 screws, bolt that on there, slide your packs in there, gun them down with a piece of Velcro. It's pretty hard to beat. And that's right in line with the motor guard too, so all that's pretty and nice smooth across it. So, alright, I'm going to tear this down some more, show you what we find. Alright guys, here's something else worth talking about. So I'm running an RS 700 in this truck, just to keep this up out of the way. I still let my motor hang a little lower, but that's the hang up point for me. Now, if you want to run a full-size servo, but you want to get the bottom of the servo higher out of the way, you can reach out to us. We can sell you a couple of these carbon servo mounts. If you wanted, you could stack them up, moving your servo upwards and getting less hang down below with the full-size servo. Another thing to note, on my rig, see most rigs we sell, a lot of them, kind of depending on how they're spec'd out. This is a 3/16 titanium rod here with Revo ends. 3mm and 1/8 inches typically sufficient here, but I'm hard on stuff, so I tend to run Revo ends on everything. So as you can see, I had to clearance this Vanquish servo arm. This may not be a problem for you if you run different kind of servo arm, but I like the VP clamping ones. There's 2 schools of thought on clamping versus non-clamping, but we can talk about that later. So what I had to do, at full lock this direction, what you would, this fat part of the rod end would run into this. So I took a Dremel and clearanced it a little bit. And also, I clearanced the bottom of this rod end, as you can see, just so I could get full lock without this catching up on this. And I also used a washer or 2 underneath it. Now, a different silver arm could cure that. That was the way I dressed it on my rig. But that's my personal rig. So this thing does not, it doesn't get easy days. So it usually gets ran hard, put away wet, as the old saying goes. So I'm also running 0 degree C-hubs and 0 Ackerman steering. I prefer to get both of them, both knuckles turning the same amount. That's the way I like to run my rigs. I'm also probably running about 20 degrees of caster on this setup. Rock to the rear, because that's the way I like it. It helps turn in. It also helps you be able to avoid gates. Pretty sweet. Alright, I'm going to keep tearing it down. Alright, so we're getting further into this. Now you can see the brass. So you got a little corrosion, or whatever you want to call that. It's not really corroded. Just the finish isn't pretty. Now these things go out raw, guys. We don't coat this brass or this aluminum. But I think that's mostly from the ocean water running out of Maine this year, or last year. So that's pretty, not too bad at all. Haven't run into any stuck screws or anything. So that's good, right? Now, this shaft is an OG old one from way back in the day. See how it's silver? All the newer ones are black because they're black oxide coated for corrosion resistance. Other than that, the shafts are fundamentally the same. I had to change this shaft out because I had a, out of the blue, I had one of these pins work their way out. A lot of you guys have seen that before. If that happens, damn, that light's bad in here. Just let us know. We'll fix you up. So, there's the front axle getting tore down. Now you can see a little bit of the same thing, just dirt, some oxidation, scratches and beating. I'm gonna see what I'm gonna clean this up, obviously, and I'm gonna see if I can polish some of that out, just to make it look pretty. But it's no big deal. All right, we'll continue with the tear down, and we'll show you what else we find. All right, boys. So we're down to this point. Let's say at this juncture, you need to take this apart. So you bought a kit, it's already together like that. Reach in here, get your set screw. Mine's been Loctite and it's been in there a while to hold the back of the other shaft. Get a little bit of, there we go. Now, if you look at these pins, if you can see it or not, when you put these pins in, or if you buy this together, one side of these pins is tapered. See, it's that one. This side's not. I don't want to mess that taper up, personally. I'm just taking my other driver. This is quick and dirty, boys. This is how this works. Hold on. I gotta hold it all. I just gave her a little tap. Knocked it out. You want this stuff tight. You want a tight fit on there. You don't want it all wobbled. Then after that, you should be able to grab your needle nose, pull her on out, pop off your hub, pull your shaft out. It's dirty. Let's wipe this down. We're gonna also zoom out a bit. FBA shaft, 7mm inside, 8mm subshaft. Now this one, legit. That's about 3 years of driving on it. Now granted, this truck doesn't get a lot of use, but every bit of use it gets is hard. So that's looking pretty stout. It's not too wore out, just dirty. Needs good cleaning, lubed. There's about the slop in the things. For an RC truck, boys, that'll do for me. Good enough for what it's for. Let's go ahead and crack this one apart too, just so y'all can see how it goes again. Lock that in. Loosen up the set screw. A couple turns. That one wasn't as tight. Turn it to there. To push that out. I was able to just push it out. Grab that pliers. Boom, boom. Here's your wear and tear. Looks pretty good. This setup, these are older knuckles. The new ones don't need the spacer anymore, but I had a spacer to hold all that tight. That's old stuff. The new stuff shouldn't have these. Yeah, there may be a few out there, but not very many mixed in. So we'll pull our own out. Mine got a little spacer. It can go either on the outside or the inside of the bearing. Either way, it's fine. Newer shaft. Black on black oxide for corrosion resistance. Nice and tight. Looks good. All right. Next, let's hit the guys. This is raw. I'm gonna tear it all down and clean every bit of it. Let's start with grabbing the wrong driver. Pop this up. Get our motor off. Carbon cover. Oh, screw goes with hardware. Just for reference, guys. That's how much hardware I've taken out of this rig already. It's a lot of 3mm bolts. Put my pins in there. I don't want to lose them. Got our gear mesh. I think I'm running a 12 or a 14 tooth. I think it's a 14 tooth pinion. I'm not going to count it right now. It's been in there a couple years, like I said. Works good. Back the motor screws off. Boink. To our hardware. There's that 380 Holmes V2. Bear in mind, guys, some of your parts may look a little different now. Revisions and updates and all that. I'm not going to get that out of there, am I? Nope, forgot. That's how long it's been in there. 380 Revolver V2, 2000 kV. Teeth. Pinion. They look good. I don't see any problem there. Motor to the case a little bit. I need to take the pinion off and clean that out. Where's it? See, she's good and dirty. There it is. It's 14 tooth. That's what I'm running on 4S. Front and rear. Come on now. That does not want to come out of there. There we go. Got her. We win. All that looks good. You don't see the evidence of the motor guard rubbing on the can, really, because there'd be witness marks on the can. A little dirty. There's the motor guard. New ones are newer. Like I said, the newer version of these is out. It's different, but you get the idea. All right, next. We're going to pull these 4 screws out. We're going to look at all the gears. That was kind of loose. They were doing this. It's filthy. Needs to be tore down and cleaned. See that bottom screw's longer? There's a little spacer there. I just keep sanding stuff from getting in there. Rounded shape goes to the outside. She's got that little thing on it. That goes to the rear. Rear, front, outside. As you can tell, guys, these axles haven't been open in a good while. I think last time I had these open was on Crawlapalooza 2 years ago. Dirty. Bearings all look good. Let's feel the bearings, rather. There's a space. There's a shim on this one. So. Figure that out later. Shims are as needed, guys. Sometimes you need them, sometimes you don't. Just don't want to lose that. Check our bearings. No crunchies. Nope. Bearings feel good. Put that right there. Now, one thing to mind since I got this out. Sometimes with bearings with carbon fiber, some of y'all know, some of you don't. Sometimes they'll fit real tight, sometimes they won't. The reason it's hard to get consistency in carbon fiber is as they cut it, it wears the router bits out. So you can cut a couple parts, and if you're real precise with your measurements, between 3 or 4 parts, you can see a difference in the wear from the cutters that cut the carbon fiber. So that's why we're trying to move, for more precision parts, we're trying to stick with aluminum. But for transmissions and gear sets like this, works fine. But that's why. Anyways, moving on. Got a first gear. I'm gonna call it first gear. It's a spur gear. It's the one your pinion engages. That looks good on that thing. if y'all can see that or not. Change this light in a bit. Don't seem to be much any better, does it? Oh well. Here, let's zoom in. Alright. So yeah. It's pretty good. Pin's not broke. Set that there. Now the next gear, you're not going to get that out. It's just got a spacer on it. So, but pull this plate off here. Now to get this tube, all this off, you already took one bolt out that was holding it. Get grease everywhere. That's why I use these towels. I can just throw them in the washer and it contains my mess. Oh, there, gear came out with it. So let's look it over. So for the low ratio gear set, this is an 11 tooth. This is an old style. If you're going to hurt anything in these axles and you want to keep spares, I mean, that's really the only thing you would really concern yourself with. And we actually got a newer version of this gear that's splined all the way through. So this is a small, it'd be a small third gear. We have a version that's, instead of using a pin, it's splined all the way through this other gear. That's much stronger. The new trucks are going out with that. This is an old version. So, then pin spacer. I believe that to be where my shim goes. Yeah, inside, here we go. Fourth gear locker, final, however you want to look at it. That thing's in there. Get in there, give her a tappy tap out. There she is. Check that bearing. No, it feels fine. She's just in there good. So yeah. This side, the long side goes into this, the short side. If that makes sense to this. It goes in like so. I just pushed out because I'm gonna clean that up and maybe some emery paper. But yeah, but that gear looks really good. Bearings look alright. Here in a bit I'm gonna take all this outside and clean it all up. There's your corners of your locker. After that kind of time. We used to break these off with the OGV Berg V1 shafts and tear them up. Carbon plate. Now the bearing, depending on this, might be under this a little bit. So if you need to pull that bearing, pull this plate off. I really don't see, well, we'll show you how to tear it all the way down. Might as well, we're here, right? Well, there's nothing to see, to be honest. Anyways, there's your short side tube. I could take it apart more, but there's not much point. You guys see how it goes together. Held up pretty good. So we're gonna put some elbow grease into cleaning her up. She's pretty dirty. All right, now your link mount on this. Let's cover this. Your long side. Obviously this is adjustable. You want to adjust it. Oh, you put your screw here or here. And then you just move these ones. So yeah, you can just pull the screw out and dial this into where you want it. Remember, this one is off of a old version off Super. The new ones are updated on everything. These parts are grody. That screw is long-winded because it's in that printed piece. Yeah. Couple years of abuse, she'll clean up fine. Now we'll check our bearings. Everything's good. If you build your axles, put blue Loctite on these. Those and those. You're going to want to. Alright folks, so that's what 3 years of crawling does to a set of Deluxe Super Lights. I'm not going to do a video on the rear axle right now, because I'm going to do a whole different video on that. I'm going to change this whole housing setup up from a V1 to a V2. And I'll show you guys the whole process and tear it on that there. So, questions, concerns, put them down in the thing below. We can talk about them. And thanks. Have a good day.